Welcome to Moms of Truth. Today is a homeschool video. On my channel, I share either Christian parenting content or homeschool related things. Today, I will be sharing our new homeschool schedule for the 2022-2023 school year. And the schedule is actually completely different from what we were doing before. I do have a video on last year's homeschool schedule. I posted this video only 3 months ago. It was still working for us pretty well, but over the summer, I think I kind of realized that there may be a schedule out there that is better at helping us to balance all the different things that we're doing, and that is something called loop scheduling. When I first heard about loop scheduling, maybe about a year ago, I thought, cool, but not really for us. But over the summer, it just kind of kept coming back up in my mind. So I thought I'd look into it some more. And it really seems like it's going to work out better for us. So this will be our first year giving it a go. Loop scheduling is exactly what it sounds like. You list all of your curriculum and start working down the list. And when you get to the bottom, you start back over and just continuously kind of loop through it. You keep working down your list and starting back over in like a constant rotation, hence the name, right? Loop scheduling. Why I think it will work for us is a few reasons. One being, I felt like I was having a hard time balancing all the things, and not just like the primary main subjects that my children study, but all of the little things that they need to work on in addition to that. Things like math facts or telling time, cursive, extracurricular, music, science. That one always got put on the back burner. It seems like we just rarely got around to doing all of it all the time last year. And why I feel like I am especially drawn to the loop schedule format is because of its flexibility. If my schedule is, let's say, music and science on Thursday, and something comes up to where we don't get to one of them or maybe even both of them, then we're either going to add that on to the next school day or fall behind our schedule. And for me, that just adds unnecessary stress, and for my children too, because sometimes they'll get extra work, right? So with loop scheduling, you just work down your list as far as you want to for that day or as far as you can. And then the next school day, whenever that is, you just pick up where you left off. So there's no guilt and there's no following behind or stressing of not following the schedule. And you know all the curriculum will get done because it's on a loop list. This type of schedule might be especially helpful to any homeschooling mamas out there with like a chronic illness. Anyone with an autoimmune disease or any other chronic illness, then you know that not every day can look the same. Sometimes we give it our all and we can, and other times we have absolutely nothing to give. And when homeschooling, the constant change in what you can give every day is difficult on a regimented schedule and nearly impossible. It was for me. So with loop scheduling, I know that if I'm not feeling well enough, I can rest and we can pick up where we left off the next day. And I don't have any stress about it because I know nothing will be missed. It will all still get covered just in our time, whatever that looks like for us as a family. So before I show you the list and go over it, on it, I do have a few things that they do daily, things that they actually will loop through weekly, and then things they loop through biweekly. Also on their list, because my children do best with structure, is a morning routine. If my kids do not have a morning routine, then it's usually chaos. Everyone's just kind of running around in the morning, getting into things they're not supposed to, fights break out, someone gets hurt. I'm sure you can relate. Having a morning routine for my kids gets them focused on being productive and helpful and independent. So this is our homeschool schedule for the year. It's not anything fancy. I may change that in a few months, but this is what we have to get us started right now and to test it out. So let's talk about what's on this list. So the first little section on my children's list is their morning routine. And the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to make their bed, and then they're going to get dressed, and then they're going to spend 5 minutes with God. And this is time for them to maybe pray or sit quietly. I wanted to do 10 minutes initially. but I want their time to be undistracted and I want it to be really productive. So I thought that 5 minutes was a good, achievable time for my children to really spend talking with him and listening and just having that time. And then these 2 lines right here are for chores, and they'll get filled in the night before so that my kids are able to wake up and kind of do their own thing. And the chores change every day. It kind of just depends on what we need and what's going on in our household. And then they have exercise. And some of my kiddos have their own list of workouts that they like to do every day. And some of them like to do activities on YouTube like P.E. Bowman, or there's another one, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a couple of fun channels where the kids can do PE and kind of play fun games. And then after they exercise, they will brush their hair, and then they will eat breakfast, and then they will brush their teeth, and then they will have worship time. And worship time, they usually do Seeds Family Worship because they sing scripture. I've talked about Seeds Family Worship before. It's an awesome channel with awesome music, and it helps my children internalize and remember scripture, and it's fun. They like it. So they typically will pick 3 songs to worship to. And then next we have their daily list. This is academic stuff that they will do every single day. And the first thing that we have is a read aloud. And right now we're working through Old Yeller. So for our read alouds, my kids really like starting the day with read alouds because after they get through all of this stuff, it's time for a snack. So that's kind of one of the fun things we do with our read aloud is everyone grabs a blanket and a pillow and they get little cups of either trail mix or popcorn or Cheez-Its or something like that. And they kind of snack while I read aloud. So it's just a fun way for the kids to start the day. And then afterwards we have Bible, and we're going through a humility study right now. And then they'll do math and then spelling and then reading. And for reading, they will either read chapter book or their reading comprehension workbook that they have. And so morning routine is every morning, and this is daily what they will absolutely do every single day. So now we move on to our loop list portion. This is our loop list for weekly. Now, my only fear with this is that I went ahead and listed all of the things that they need to be working on or are working on right now. The issue I ran into last year was that there was too much and I couldn't balance it all. So I'm wondering if I just maybe have too much on the list and I need to cut back. But I guess I will update and let you guys know how it goes. Let me tell you how this loop scheduling is going to work. So they'll do their morning routine, they'll do their daily list, and then we'll come over here to our loop list. And depending on our day, we'll knock out as many of these as we can. I'm estimating that we'll get to probably do 3 or 4 of them every single day. And then we'll get to the bottom and then we'll just kind of start back over like that. So they have Explode the Code, which is their phonics. They have Human Body, which is our science for the year. Correct a Sentence. These are books that we got at the Lakeshore Learning Store. And they're really simple books where they just correct, 1 or 2 sentences a day. And it has all of the markings in there to teach them how to edit the actual sentence. And then it has an answer key for me, which is a must. And then they have Math Manipulative. And then vocabulary, cursive. We used to Good and the Beautiful for cursive. And then they have selective learning. And this is where they get to go on Kiddle.co, which is a children's search engine. And they get to just learn whatever they want to learn and look up whatever it is that they want to look up and then tell me about it or write about it or do an art project or whatever they want to do. And then they have Phonics Manipulative. And the manipulatives just help bring in some fun and help to review and reinforce things that they're learning or did learn in the past and may have forgotten. And it takes them out of a workbook too and gets them with hands-on fun kind of things. And then they have Spectrum, which is language. We bought the Spectrum language book because my children's language curriculum is kind of just, I pieced it together piece by piece, like with grammar book and sentence and this and that. And so I wanted to make sure that we were covering everything. So I bought the Spectrum language book just to kind of review and make sure that we're hitting all the points that we need to hit. And then they have typing and then writing. And then they have their grammar interactive notebooks. And this is like cut and paste inside of a lined notebook paper where they get to do all these fun little activities to learn grammar. And then we have our life skills book from the thinking tree. And then at the very end, we have another selective learning where they get to do something fun. And so this is what we will loop throughout the week. After we finish our daily stuff, we'll knock out 3 or 4 of these things, as many as we can, and then we'll pick up the next day. And then these are our biweekly things. So how that's going to work is every week we will do 2 of these things. So we'll read through the puberty book, which I have for all of my children, boys and girls, and then history, which for history, we don't actually have a curriculum. My older son does, but we typically will watch documentaries or research certain people or read some of the Who Was books, and we'll kind of go on a long journey of learning about a particular person or a particular time, and we'll kind of just do that on our own and incorporate fun projects and things like that. So for history, it's kind of self-exploration. And then the next week, we will do the next 2 things. We will incorporate them into our week. So we will incorporate one of these things, maybe Spanish, on a day when we have maybe like 4 things on here. And then music kind of takes us a little bit longer. So we might incorporate music on a day when we do 3 things. It kind of depends on our day. So we're going to kind of make it whatever we want it. And if the biweekly doesn't work, I may shorten this down and then put those into the weekly. So this is going to be a test run to see how it all works. So to sum up, we have our morning routine. This is what they do independently on their own before they even start their day with me. This is what they do daily. Some of these things they can start on their own. Some of them they need to wait for me. And then these are our weekly things that we're going to loop through and just get as many done in a day that we can, and then continue on the next day. And then the biweekly things, we will do 2 each week. So we'll do puberty and history in 1 week, and then in the next week we'll do Spanish and music. But if we don't get to music, let's say in 1 week, well, we'll just do music and puberty book the next week, and we'll just continue to loop through this list independently along with this one. So it's really whatever works best for us, whatever moods my children are in. If they're having a hard day, if I'm having a hard day, if we are busy with, co-ops and activities outside of the home, it all kind of depends on what's going on, with our schedule, how this is going to look. But I love the freedom of it. I love that there's no pressure to get a certain amount done every single day. If we're having a great day and everybody's focused, we're going to plow through a lot, right? But if we're having a bad day, then we can kind of take it easy and then just pick up where we left off, and we don't have to stress that we missed a day or the schedule is off or we didn't do language like we were supposed to. So I feel like this just gives us freedom. And we get to make sure also that we are doing all of our things. We're just looping through all of them, and I don't have to worry about scheduling them throughout the week and making sure that they're all balanced. So that pretty much sums up our homeschool schedule for this year. I will make another video, maybe closer to December, an update on how it's all going. Leave your comments below. Have you done MOOP scheduling before? Did it work for you? Or is this your first time hearing about it? What'd you think about it? I hope that you all have a great homeschooling year. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, and follow Moms of Truth on Instagram. I am definitely most active on that platform. Take care, and I'll see you soon.